At DTU Nanolab, the working environment is given highest priority. We expect that you know the rules and are aware of the risks associated with the work you're going to do. Therefore, always read the safety data sheet and, if one exists, the risk assessment. Consider sending your process flow to Nanolab for review. If you need training, contact fabrication support. First and foremost, the cleanroom must be open for access. If the sign "Building Closed" is turned on, it means that you can't enter. Everyone, except Nanolab's emergency team, has left the building. Check out where you can find first aid equipment. We also have a defibrillator and firefighting equipment. Please note that there are emergency exits all the way around the cleanroom. These exits should only be used in emergencies. Outside normal working hours, make sure to have an agreement that there are others in the cleanroom with you when working with wet chemistry. Inside the cleanroom, make sure you know where to find first aid equipment. Phone numbers of the people to contact in case of an emergency can be found in the gowning room and near most of the phones in the cleanroom. You can find emergency showers close to where we work with chemicals. All chemicals have to be approved before use at Nanolab and must be fitted with Danish safety labels. To minimize the risk of spills, all transport of chemicals must take place on a trolley. Working in fume hoods requires special attention. Before starting your work, you should consult the risk assessment manual to identify which fume hoods are dedicated to which types of processes. Note that the fume hoods may only be used if the traffic light on the fume hood is green. If it isn't green, you should contact a Nanolab employee. If you wish to run more than one process at the same time in the fume hood, you should contact a Nanolab employee for permission to ensure that the processes are compatible to run simultaneously. Always pay special attention to the rule that you should never work with oxidizing and flammable chemicals at the same time, as this could cause an explosion. The fume hoods are primarily designed with safety in mind, since all air is sucked from the cleanroom into the fume hood to prevent chemical vapors from escaping. To use the fume hoods, always use the buttons on the operator panel to open the sash. This ensures proper startup of ventilation before the sash opens, and thus optimal safety. When not in use, the fume hood sash will automatically close, and the exhaust system will go into energy-saving standby mode. When working at the fume hoods, it's important to keep the sash position as low as possible. Around chest height or lower is preferred. Otherwise, there's a risk of chemical vapors escaping into the cleanroom. And don't cover the perforated tables inside fume hoods or wet benches, as this will significantly reduce the ventilation and thereby potentially compromise safety. Move slowly when working and keep the fume hoods clean and tidy. Before mixing or using chemicals, you should fill out a note containing what chemical is used, contact information, dates, and the chemical classification by ticking the appropriate pictograms. This ensures the necessary information is available in case the emergency alarm goes off and you have to leave immediately. In some work areas, you must use additional safety equipment. You'll find signs telling you which safety equipment is to be used in areas where we work with wet chemistry. Any work involving chemicals that are labelled toxic, corrosive, or that it poses a serious health hazard always requires additional protective equipment. For other work, safety glasses or normal glasses are sufficient. If there are specific rules for certain baths, it will be on the signs at the bath. Before you start using equipment, you should always check its status in Lab Manager. If it says out of use, then the equipment mustn't be used. It could be very dangerous to do so. Many processes are run in pre-filled baths inside wet benches. Despite looking almost identical to fume hoods, wet benches work very differently because clean air is blown from the top into the bench via integrated HEPA filters. Because of this special airflow pattern, chemicals should never be handled manually in wet benches, because this may lead to a release of chemical vapors into the clean room. Wet benches are not designed for work with chemicals above tabletop height. When opening a wet bench sash, it's important to use the buttons on the front panel to provide time for the ventilation and HEPA filters to start up before the sash opens. When you process samples in baths, it's important to use the correct boat which is dedicated for that specific bath. The coloured dots show which boat and bath match together. It's important that we help each other to follow the rules and work safely. Be open to recommendations from colleagues and Nanolab staff. Let people know if you see them behaving incorrectly in the clean room. That way, you too can also help to make Nanolab a better workplace for everybody. Chemicals must be cooled to below 40 degrees Celsius before they're discarded. Acids and bases can be removed using an aspirator, or in the case of smaller amounts, poured directly into the sink inside the fume hood. Remember to rinse the aspirator and beakers thoroughly, both on the inside and outside with water. Remember, the sink is considered dirty as it may contain chemical residues. If you put beakers or bottles in the sink, remember to clean them thoroughly with water. Only solvents belonging to waste group C are allowed in the C waste containers. Consult the lists in solvent fume hoods for the most commonly used chemicals belonging to waste group C, or look up the safety data sheet for your chemical in Chemibrew to identify the waste group. Be careful not to overfill the C waste containers. Check that it's not already full before adding more to it. If the C waste container is full, it can be emptied in the C waste collection station. If your chemical is neither C waste nor a common acid or base, it should be collected in a suitable bottle with a cap and proper safety labeling. Talk to Nanolab for details. Empty bottles that have contained chemicals which are not soluble in water are disposed of in the solid C waste container. The same applies for bottles containing resist residues. Never leave behind any drops of liquid, not even water, because other people can't be certain whether it's water or hydrofluoric acid. If they get something wet on themselves, they'll have to assume that the spill contains hydrofluoric acid. Should a larger spill of hazardous chemicals occur outside the fume hood, the vapors will spread very quickly throughout the cleanroom due to the high air circulation. If there are no Nanolab employees nearby to take action, the cleanroom should be evacuated immediately. Therefore, if you hear the evacuation alarm with no pauses, everyone must leave the building and go to the collection point at building 358, where they should wait to be picked up by people from the emergency team. Remember to always react immediately if there's an alarm, which may be due to chemical spills leaks of toxic gases, or fire. In case of non-life-threatening danger, you'll hear a mild evacuation alarm, which is a siren with breaks in between. This means that you have 30 seconds if necessary to finish your work and then leave the clean room through the gowning area. If you get chemicals on yourself, rinse immediately with plenty of water using the emergency shower in the clean room. You can continue showering in the toilet in building 346. Remove contaminated clothing whilst showering. Here, it's also possible to call for help while showering. Call a Nanolab employee if there's no one around. You can find the phone numbers of whom to contact in case of an emergency, both in the clean room and in the cabin outside the toilets in building 346. You can also continue rinsing at the small toilet, where you can also get in contact with DTU campus security by pressing the alarm button. In case of chemicals in your eyes, use the eye rinse bottles, which you can find on the walls close to where we work with chemicals. Nanolab has a high level of safety. The clean room must be a safe place to work in, but we need your help. So if you notice anything unusual, such as a spill, a different smell, or incorrect behavior, please act on it. If you're unsure, contact a Nanolab employee. See you in the clean room.